Okay, here we are, trying to remove the transfer box off an all4 Mini 2011 plate. Just taking the wheel off, just going to have a quick look underneath. Hopefully the light will show it well enough. We have to remove, where are we, here we are, remove that, and I'm going to hold it with a big adjustable on the hex. So there's only actually 3 bolts holding the transfer box. Yeah. And yeah, they say it's a 3-hour job. It'll be interesting to see the reality of it. It's the first one I've done, so we'll give it a best shot. I'll keep taking pictures going through and we'll see what happens. So the first thing we've done is reverse thread unscrew. You can see the threads on the transfer box going onto the prop shaft. So we had a big spanner on this one, a big adjustable, and an equally big adjustable on the back onto the hexagonal prop shaft. So surprisingly enough, that came off quite easily. It's good. Right, need to take the UV joint off. Which is just there, and to do that you need to get a cold chisel up in that joint and force it off. As you'll see, if you've got the new transfer box, there's a ring in there that holds it in place, but it does break away, it does come off. You don't need to take the engine mount off at all. Right, that carrier just here, that bolts 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I can't quite get to that one. There we are. They need to come out, and I've loosened them all off, so that unit is now ready to come out. I suppose it's for the end of the drive shaft for the transfer box, just a support for that. The bearing doesn't sit in it; it's just a cover, really. Here is the Mini all4 transfer box out on the bench. I'm just going to take you through one of 2 things with this. The easiest way to get it in is to drive the shaft out. I think I've said this earlier. Yeah. So this is from the passenger side, if you like, depending where you are in the world. So this is the left-hand side of the vehicle, and that's the right-hand side. There is a clip, and I'm just going to get it. Here's the retaining clip that keeps the bearing and the shaft in place. I've taken it out. Yeah. And then with a gentle tap with a hammer, and the complete shaft is here, and the bearing. You're really surprised to see that because there's no teeth on it at all. I don't understand how it works. It must just be friction. But anyway, before you remove the box, the existing box, you need to take this shaft out, and really there's a tiny little ring here, and it's a case of getting some mole grips or the like. Just caught over that and just hammer the mole grips to pull this out. And of course you can't see this because the UV joint is over on the spline, and here there is just a taper piece where there's a cup, which is easy. It's just a rubber push fit, it's no problem. But really you must take this out, otherwise you're pulling out engine mounts, subframes and all that sort of stuff. With this shaft out, you now have that is the size of the transfer box. Yes, the prop shaft has to come off, but it doesn't have to come out. The exhaust doesn't have to come out. No subframes have to come out. Yes, you need to get the driver's side drive shaft out so you can actually pull the shaft out. As you can see, it goes in and out very easily. This is okay. Yes, this is the old unit, but nevertheless, it comes out very easily. So yeah. you have to remove the driver's shaft, or the right hand side drive shaft, to give you access to pull this out, which is not very difficult at all. So actually, in all, it's taken me a long time because it's the first one I've done, but in essence, yeah, I could do this again in yeah, 2 or 3 hours maximum. And the people. So here we are with the transfer box out. No shaft, obviously, because we took that out earlier, and yeah, it came back really quite easily. Well, no, it did. Right, here's the new transfer box, and you need to remove this clip. Just squeeze together and pull it out, and this shaft will come out with a bit of a tap. So I haven't got a tripod, so bear with me. So you need this out before you install it in the car, and likewise we needed to, well, we did take it out when we took it out of the car. So that's what you're left with. Okay, this is the new transfer box, and I've managed to get off the prop shaft locking nut from the old transfer box. Now you can't play around with this, it's stuck in, and just don't bother. But this is on a very, very slight oval. You can see the gap just down here on the inside there. See, it's on a slight oval. If I rotate it, it gets wider, and then it'll come back to the oval again, just there. So what I did, it's not too difficult, is to sort of wedge this up on the high side, the low side, lift it up, and I then got the spanner, the right size spanner for this, and hoiked it round, and it did lift out, it did come out. Hence, as you can see, I've got the lock nut from the old box onto the new box. Okay. So that's the carrier for the transfer box, those 4 nuts I was speaking about earlier. They've all come out. Well, sorry, I've taken them out and I've put them back in again. And what I'm putting on now is the knuckle, if you like, for the UV joint. And basically, there it is, and just hammer it on. So that's the universal joint back in. That's probably better. Pushed in as far as I can get it. It's up hard. I think you can see right at the back of it. Stick a finger in. No, I can't get in. Yeah, the tip of the finger there. That's the back of it, and it's a solid piece. So that's not the shaft. That is the back of the UV. Okay, so we've now got the retaining nut for the prop shaft. It's got to go back in, and it's a reverse thread to tighten it up. Should be no problem. It's going on very easily at the moment, very nicely. So let's hope it pulls everything up, and we're almost there. Okay, the transfer box. What I want to do now is open it up and just see what's inside, and if it's damaged and how badly damaged. The whole reason we replaced the transfer box is a whining from 10 mph up to about 60 mph, and I understand this 4-wheel drive system is selective. At sort of 50-60 miles an hour it stops, and all power is put on the front wheels, and the rear wheels receive no power. So I'm going to pull this apart and just have a quick look and see what's inside. Right, I've removed all the bolts, and I'm just going to open up the transfer box. I put it in a drip tray. There shouldn't be any more oil in there, but let's just see. Right, there we go. God, I can see all the shiny oil on there, lots of metal parts in it. Right, so inside, what have we got inside? Oh my god, I don't know if you can see just here all the teeth that are ground down pretty much to nothing. I'm just going to rotate it a wee bit, see if I can. Yeah, just again, I don't see the condition of the teeth. They're just worn. But certainly this tooth here, I mean, I'm just feeling it as jagged. It really is. It's what a mess. But the main thing is the teeth here. I'm sure you can see. I don't need to zoom in or anything. You can just see the condition of the teeth as I'm rotating around. There's chunks out of it. You know, I mean, there you can see that just my fingernail there. It's just a massive chunk. Anyway, I'm going to put it back together again, and I really hope you found this useful. Okay.